Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profit. The mission of this show is to educate, inspire, and motivate women around the world to build a robust sales strategy to get more clients because most can't get more clients and haven't a clue why. You will learn to transform thinking to the client's perspective, eliminate the lengthy, chaotic sales cycle to ignite your sales, and unleash lasting profits. You will also have the opportunity to connect with me further to see how I can support you beyond today. Today, I am again joined by the wonderful Rachel. Rachel is the Petite Queen Director of Content. She is also a social sorceress, a regal researcher, content princess, and luscious writer. Last week, we learned successful concentration of your sales strategy for mammoth rewards. And today is a special treat. I will be sharing my story from Girl Scout to Queen of $1 Million Sales Strategy. And Rachel is going to be interviewing me as I share my sales career journey. By the end of today's show, you will know how I got started in sales and why you can do this too. What I learned along my sales journey and how I apply those lessons in our consulting. Why I will always be a lifelong learn-it-all, and how you can embrace your opportunities. My wish is for you to see yourself in my experiences to help you connect the dots to seize your next big thing. So, Rachel, let's get it started.
Great. So you just mentioned at the top that you started in Girl Scouts. So why don't you start with telling us that story?
Yeah, absolutely. I did. When I was a Girl Scout, one of the things that you always, if anybody's ever heard of Girl Scouts, you have the cookie sale. It's a big annual fundraiser that the Girl Scouts do every year. They've been doing them since Moby Dick was a minnow. And although he, of course, as a whale would never be a minnow, but you know what I mean, for a long time. And so I wanted to get the coveted cookie badge. And you literally had to sell a truckload of cookies to get this badge. And I mean, I just wanted that badge. And so my best friend was also in the Girl Scouts. And so I devised a plan for the two of us to come up to get that cookie badge. And so we went literally, and I would recruit either her parent, one of her parents, or one of my parents. And we would be every day at a different store. And we did a few basic stores, but we would be out there. I would be attracting people, bringing them in to get them to buy the cookies. And Judy, who's the most shy, introverted person, really wanted to just but she took the money and gave them their cookies. So I was the one who's sort of like the Walmart greeter, hello, come on in. And so I brought the people to the table and then she took their money. And it worked great. We were the only two girls in the entire district to get that cookie badge. And I think that even at that early stage, so there were a couple things. I love the Girl Scouts. It's such a fantastic organization. I stayed in it through high school and eventually even was a camp counselor and stuff for the younger Girl Scouts. Just a fabulous organization. The cookies are fantastic. And when you're passionate about something, so for me, I was passionate about the organization. I was passionate about the cookies. And of course, I had a motivation. I wanted that cookie badge. All of those things came together for a successful sales strategy and executing it. And it was actually core ingredients that you need to be successful in sales. And I learned that as I went through and went into sales in my professional career, which I never would have guessed.
Yeah. Oh, I love Girl Scout cookies. What's the one that I really like? Is it called a Samoa or something?
Yeah, Samoas.
Samoas,
Yes.
yes. So good. So you mentioned that you brought those lessons into your sales career. So how did you get started in your sales career?
Well, it was one of those accidental things. I was had finished with graduate school, and I had taken a job that I literally was like just sort of going through the motions of doing some activities at a printer. Sort of like today you'd think of somebody who's, there's still big printing companies, but this was a commercial printer. And after I did that for a few months and sort of recharged my brain cells, and I actually worked in all these different departments in this printing company, sort of like wherever they needed me, and I learned all kinds of things in the process about the business. And I was the one who actually asked the owner of the business, which full disclosure was my dad, if I could go into outside sales. Now, they only had two outside salesperson, himself and his partner. And he literally was like cringe, like, oh, this is just going to be a disaster. No, no, no. But I was like water on a stone, and I really wanted to go into outside sales. I'm going like, I have a master's degree, and I either need to get another job or I need to do something different. And honestly, I felt like if I was in outside sales, I would also have some flexibility so I could actually look for a real job at the same time. Isn't that funny? So finally convinced him to let me go into outside sales. And it was March, sort of mid-March. I followed him around for 2 weeks. I sort of ghosted him. I went to every meeting. I watched what he did. And then April 1st, April Fool's Day, I don't know. Was that a thing? I don't know. But I went out and started cold calling on clients. And I would go in, introduce myself, find out who the contact information is. I'd strike up conversations with the receptionist, got to know these people, and then started making calls. And as I went through and I started making connections with people, a couple things occurred. First of all, I like talking to people. I am naturally curious and about their business and what they did and who they were. And so we would start those conversations. I'm a high nurturer or relator. But on the second side is I'm also really high in my knowledge or expert level. So I had been learning the business and the commercial print business and just like thirsty, grabbing that knowledge. And then I would then be able to use that knowledge to help and serve the clients. And by the end of that first year, so I was truly in sales for 9 months that first year, I outsold my father's business partner who had been selling printing his entire career. And the next year I went on and I outsold my dad. So that's sort of how I got started in sales. But what I learned is, of course, I was passionate about the organization. And my dad ran the business. He was the senior partner, and ran a great company. I was just very, a lot of fun to work there. A lot of great people. When I was selling commercial printing, it was something that people needed so they could help their business. It was a way I could help and serve them. And I really liked doing it. I loved helping people. That's that relator nurturer in there. And while it wasn't world peace or rocket science, I actually served them by taking something off their plate that they never had to think about again. They just knew it was going to be handled. And so during that first year and then the second, I built up a really solid client base, obviously, and I just never looked back.
Fantastic. So it was obvious that you were pretty successful at sales very early on, but how did you know that sales was right for you and really spoke to you?
Well, I think for everyone, it goes back to some of those core things that I talked about. Are you passionate about what you're doing and how you're helping and serving others? Passionate about the organization. And when you have that inner flame and this belief that what you're doing makes a difference and creates an impact, that really drives you forward. And I know this from experience because there were a couple times as my career progressed over time, and my dad eventually moved on into another career, and I worked for other printers, yada, 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 that if I didn't trust or believe in the organization, it was just like a stake through the heart. I wasn't effective at what I was doing. If I didn't believe in the client, who they were and what they were doing and how they were creating a product or service and impact for their clients, then I wasn't a good fit for them because I wasn't passionate about what they were doing. And so over time, I discovered that when I had those passions for both the organization I worked for, and of course, the work that I was doing, and the people I was serving, that all came together in this beautiful mix. It was almost like you're putting this beautiful cake together. And then the frosting on the cake was, of course, it really motivated me to help and serve them to the very best of my ability. And because I was always thirsty for more knowledge, I just kept pushing what I was doing and how I could help and serve them. And that served me in my career as I became, got involved with an organization that was a Fortune 500 printer. And I got up, kept going up the corporate ladder, right? And it served me because of that core base. So when you look at it, once again, those emotions and motivations and, putting that together really was that secret sauce. And so in sales, the number one lesson is you must believe in yourself, in the product and service that you're delivering, in the organization, whether it's your own business or whom you work for. Because if you don't have that, it's going to be very hard to be effective at your career. And sort of like the emperor with no clothes. So but when you have that it's almost like this inner fire. Think of Hecate and how she kept the home fires burning in Greek mythology, which is also Rachel's cat, her beautiful cat. But when you think about that, that's what keeps that alive. So because sales can be hard, sometimes you get rejected, right? You have to be able to, things don't go right. And you have to be able to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and say, okay, what did I learn from that? How can I use this moving forward? What are the lessons learned so I can apply it? And sometimes you say, well, sometimes that wasn't a good fit. That just didn't work. That's okay. Move on, move to the next. But when you have that inner fire, it makes it much easier to bounce back, to have that resilience, to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move on to the next thing. So I want everybody to sort of visualize, if you've ever seen the Captain Marvel movie, and you think about her falling off the rope, you think about her wrecking her go-kart, whatever it was, and she would just, this inner fire, this grim determination to get back up, dust herself off, and do it again. I bet just learn from that to do it different, do it better. And that's that when you have this spark inside and belief in how you're helping and serving others and the organization that you represent and what your clients are doing, it all comes together. And that was probably the most important lesson throughout my career that I use and really work with my clients on, because and that's how I determine if they're a really good fit for me, if they have that passion for what they're doing and who they're serving and the impact they're creating. So that's sort of my story of why I knew, and I still know, that sales is the right career for me.
Right. And so your career was progressing really, really well. And at one point, you were being flown all over the world to close multi-million-dollar deals. So how did sales serve you when you were climbing the corporate ladder?
Well, to be truthful, sales, everything you need to know about being a leader, you learn in sales. You do. You learn it because you have to learn how to adjust your style and flex to work with other people and different personality types. You have to learn how to negotiate. You have to learn how to deliver bad news. You have to learn how to recover when things go sideways. All of these things come together. You have to learn to ask for the sale. You have to learn how to nurture your client relationships. You need to learn how to look for opportunities. You need to learn how to let go of what's not serving you and pivot to something that is going to serve you better. And all of these skills are incredible career building skills and leadership skills. And by applying those in my career in sales, serving my clients, it also then translated to serving the organization, to serving whom I was working for. And so that enabled me then to climb the corporate ladder, as they say. It also enabled me to service and mentor other salespeople and help guide them to a better path. And that was recognized. And so when I was flying all over the world, I would work with other sales teams on major corporate accounts. I would come in and help them, get to that point where they're going to be making a major presentation in the sequence to closing a big corporate deal. It was one of the core steps. And I would be working with them at that stage. And it would be also getting to know the client, what was important to them, really diving in deep to that, and then working with that team and formulating the big, big presentation and how that came together. And it really came down to, I would initially start with, well, what's the client why? What do they want, need, or lack? What's the pain point? What's the problem they're trying to solve? What's the area of concern? Why does this matter to them? So they can what? And when we knew that, then we built the whole presentation around that. And one of the things that was most common that I would see over and over again is that the sales team would have like at least 8 to 10 pages at the beginning about why our company was so great and why we were the best choice for them. And it was like, they don't care about any of this. This all goes, pitch it. And I mean, I'd literally be like, and it's like, no, we're in the room because they've already validated us. This is all about them. In their mind, why are we the right fit? And the only way we can do that is by thinking like the client, to get into their perspective, to understand this, so then we can communicate on that basis. And I was really successful at it. And that's why they had me flying all over the world to do this. And it was really exciting and incredibly exhausting at the same time, because I would be on these planes and I'd have to get somewhere, get settled, and I'd be working, and then I'd be working all day, and then I'd get on another plane. It was crazy. It was a crazy life. And I don't miss that part of it at all. But I loved working with those teams and helping them transition, and those sales professionals see things a different way and see how they could be even more successful. And that part I really absolutely loved, and I apply that today in the consulting work that we do.
Perfect. And so you spent decades climbing that corporate ladder. So how has your corporate career served you as a sales consultant running Petite to Queen and serving our clients?
Well, eventually, being on high-level executive teams, I learned a lot about the inner workings of business. And once again, I'm that lifelong learn it all. And I would, coming from that production background, learning the operations and how things had to work, later on, how to design, computer programming to configure and support our clients. All of those things, this knowledge would come together. And because, as I said, that experience being a leader, all of that translated into then starting my own business and doing the sales consulting, because essentially I was a sales consultant, business development, but I was doing it inside a big company and we're serving their teams to help them. Instead, I just turned that to helping our own clients and then helping them serve their needs for their clients to improve their processes, to really make that connection with their clients, improve their retention, shorten their sales cycle. And all of that just came together because it was, you've got to start at the beginning, which is think like the client. And that is the number one place that you need to constantly be revisiting, because business changes, the business environment changes, new competitors come in, new trends occur, new advances are made. So this is an ongoing thing that needs to be revisited. And then how is that being applied through the client journey, through your outreach, through your follow-up, through your presentations, whether they be on a TV show like WinWin Women, or if they're in a room where you're presenting to a group, or you're doing a webinar, or speaking from the stage, wherever that is, you're pulling all that together so that you're once again connecting to that audience with their client thinking, and then providing them that delightful experience, and then applying that all the way through the business to make sure that your clients become your raving fans, that they are thrilled to give you a referral. They're thrilled to give you a review. They are your cheerleaders. They stay connected to you. And that serves you to grow your business and accelerate that growth and to scale by tapping in to this larger collective. And ultimately, that's where you want to get, because it's going to increase your profits and shorten your sales cycle.
That's fantastic. And so I want to finish with a fun story. So can you tell me about a client success story that you're just never going to forget?
Yeah, I mean, I there's so many. I've had so I've been so lucky to work with so many terrific companies. But as a consultant with Petite Queen and everyone on the team participating and working with the client, we did have a recent incredible success with a small business that had been in business for over 2 years and had not made any money. And they literally had all kinds of different things, but nothing was working. And so we came in and really started with that client thinking and went through that entire process to then build out their ideal client avatar and really look at, okay, and then what does that translate into products and services? And then how do we reconnect and revisit the ideal client avatar and the client thinking to make sure everything is aligned? And now what's the client journey going to look like? And then from there, then we built out 3 separate revenue streams with them. And we really prioritized them. But we were also at the same time working on them simultaneously, but with a priority. And so we got the first program up and running with sales coming in. Then we completed implementation on the second, which once again, that was a different revenue stream, immediately started generating revenue from that. And then implementing the third revenue stream, which is a longer cycle, a longer sales cycle, but for much larger sales. But that had actually been initiated at the beginning, but it was just going along because it was a longer sales cycle. And they've already closed their first 6-figure business, one contract, and it's the beginning of many, many more. And they have the tools and the processes in place for how they take that, and they're going to be able to leverage that across their business to once again then grow more and scale. And it was just very exciting to be a part of that and to completely help them really go from 0 to significant revenue in a very short period of time. So that was probably, I mean, Rachel, without disclosing to the audience how We participated in so many different things with them, and then planning out the entire campaigns, and once again tying it all back into the client thinking and really executing on all of those pieces. And from the very beginning had the larger program in process and running in the background, because that was a longer term sale for the bigger sale ticket for the 6-figure sale. And yet that was moving forward all the time. We were putting the other additional revenue streams in, to really start building that, and that they also have the ability to use those to continue to scale and grow their business.
Yeah, for sure. So those are all of my questions for you.
All
So
right. Well, that's a lot of fun. And I hope you all enjoyed learning about some of my background and a few interesting things about myself. And I'd say on a personal level, if you haven't tapped into it, I love to play Pokemon Go. I'm currently a level 49 out of level 50 player. I love visiting national parks. It's like absolutely love doing that. And learning all the things about the geography, the geology, the nature, and how everything comes together there. And I'm also a really big Disney fan, and one of my favorite places on earth is Disneyland. So that's a little bit about me personally. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and a big, huge thank you to my beautiful, wonderful niece, Rachel, for all of your great questions. And our purpose, my purpose, is for you to get more clients. Bottom line, don't make this harder than it has to be. Sales should be a win-win. And on behalf of the WinWin Women Network, I have carved out a limited number of time slots to invite you to hop on and ignite your sales call with me and see what's working, not working, and what you would love to have working. And I'm going to see how I might further support you in effectively generating more leads, converting more sales, and fulfilling on your promise as a brand and organization. The fastest way to success is to assure people know that they matter. And the best way to make this happen is to build a consistent sales strategy to acquire, convert, and capitalize on every lead. You will find growing your business is easy and lucrative. Today, I shared from Girl Scout to Queen of $1 Million Sales Strategy. The key is for you to implement these steps to stop wasting time, energy, and resources. You have the opportunity to jump in and get the support you need for true success. Say yes to you and get on a call with me. I am truly gifted at this, and you deserve a shortcut to your success with the right support. You can go to p2q.link/win-win. p2q.link/win-win. You can also connect with me on our website, and to stay current on all of our insightful advice, our breakthrough advantages, never miss an episode of Get More Clients, you can sign up for our weekly wisdoms at petite2queen.com. And you can also check out our incredible membership programs and how you can get involved with us today to start moving your business forward, putting that sales strategy in place so you can grow, scale, and increase your profits. Now, next week on Get More Clients, I'm going to show you how client thinking unlocks your sales strategy superpower. Whoa! So we're going to get our capes on, and I will see you next week on Get More Clients.